Jade Druid versus Jade Shaman. Now this game was pretty mental because look at the board. We've got Ysera on the board. Dream cards coming through for me. We had Spirit of the Dead played as well, hence the 1-cost minion in my hand. And by the way, Spirit of the Dead for both me and my opponent. Don't ask me how it happened. And we were in a situation where the Jade Shaman has bigger Jade Golems than me. I'm meant to be the infinite Jade deck, but he was able to beat me to the punch in terms of growing those Jade Golems. But it's interesting what a Wall of Taunts can do in terms of stopping your opponent from having lethal. Because it turns out that now I have lethal. And Saronite Taskmaster there from Spirit of the Dead. Yeah, I wish I'd recorded the entire game because it was pretty crazy. But hey, Jade Druid has staying power. You can outlast your opponent. You can clear boards and then start summoning those big Jade Golems. So Jade Druid has always been a favourite of mine to play over, the last couple of years. And it's always been a contender in the wild meta. Just better at some points in the meta than at others. But it's always been solid. And you have a bit of a slow start as you aim to ramp up. But if you're able to control the board and get to a point in the end game where you can start summoning those Jade Golems from the Jade Idols that you've shuffled, you probably win the game. You have tools to deal with aggro in terms of swipes, Starfall, you have Wrath, Naturalize, and of course Spreading Plague. But it is possible that aggro decks get too good of a start and you don't draw into those board clear effects, and so you lose against aggro. Therefore, my favourite matchup with this deck is against slow control decks. Take the Warlock for example. He'd played Blood Reaver Gul'dan and I played Poison Seeds. That just negated all of the value that he could get from his demons, and I was happy. So against slow control style decks with Naturalize, with Poison Seeds, if you time the use of those cards correctly, you are pretty much guaranteed to win the game. And now as we head to the final stages of this game, I have all of the Jade Idols now that I need. He's pretty much out of threats. And this is the most fun stage of the game. Just keep shuffling. Keep shuffling, keep summoning. And there is that sinking feeling that your opponent will get, sensing that it's all about to be over. And all he was left with, because he'd lost, he'd played Enzoth, and I'd played Poison Seeds. He'd played Gul'dan, I played Poison Seeds. And he's left with this lone Doomguard and a Sylvanas. Those were his two last threats. And he takes the taunt, which sadly, in this instance, is not enough to protect him. But it's a fun game. Games like this go for quite some time. And so you have to have a lot of patience and a lot of time. The most challenging matchup that I've found with this deck has been against Secrets Mage, or Aggro Mage, or Tempo Mage, whatever you want to call it. Look at all the armour that I've been able to gain, and gaining all of that armour made me think, oh, I'm in a pretty good position here. But when there is a double Flamewaker on the board, there really isn't much that you can do.
We will shake this world.
And he's taking fatigue damage now. I drew into the Ooze, but I made the decision not to use it because I wanted to see if I could outlast him. And then he draws all his cards and starts fatiguing every turn due to LMF, and then maybe I can win through fatigue damage. And I thought maybe with Poison Seeds, Spreading Plague, maybe, just maybe, I've managed to pull it off and survive. But unfortunately for me, yeah, he targets the face, you know it's coming. Yeah. Fireball and a Roaring Torch, sadly, was enough to win him the game. But I came so close. So, I thought, okay, fine. I lost very square. But then, I kept facing more mages. As the time went on at rank 3, this resurgence of Tempo Mage. I don't know what's going on. But here, yeah, Frostbolt, Ice Lance, and Lotheb. Really, really frustrating. But well played to him, because a well-timed Lotheb is probably what wins him this game. I mean, I can gain 3 armor. But like with the last game, you think you're about to stabilize.
I'm almost out of cards.
But then they just have the burn in hand to finish you off. Couldn't play Ultimate Infestation in this game, which was annoying. Because maybe that would have helped me stabilize.
You are on fire.
So despite beating Q-Block with this deck, despite beating Big Priest, despite beating Odd Paladin, it's Tempo Mage that I'm struggling against. And so, of course, what happens? We end up facing another Tempo Mage. This endless stream of mages at rank 3. Quite interesting. Okay, so opening hand here, Jade Idol, fine. We get the Jade Golem train going. I think that's reasonable. The rest of this hand, though, isn't looking especially attractive.
I'll show them. I'll show them all.
A lot of great utility here in hand, but I'd like some armor gain effects, I think. I'd like a Branching Paths, I'd like Ferocious Howl, just to be safe and secure in the knowledge that I can gain armor when I need it and survive. We've got to be aware of Counterspell. Against Tempo Mages, Counterspell has lost me games. So, there it is. At least we're triggering it early. Because the last thing that you want is for Branching Paths or Ferocious Howl or Ultimate Infestation to be countered by Counterspell, because those cards are really what are helping you survive and stay in the game. But this is quite an explosive start from him. And I'm just going to play the Floop here. It's not explosive runes, so I assume he's going to want to try and kill that and trade. If he could trade and take some damage off the board, I'm happy.
We have many secrets.
Just keeps getting the value with those secrets. So the question now is, does he trade 2 minions in? He does. Okay, that's good for me. He wants to protect his 4-3, I guess. Now, can we assume that the new secret that's been played is another counterspell? It is. Okay, fine.
This'll be good.
I don't think using Poison Seeds here is worthwhile. It only takes 2 damage off of the board.
I'll never tell.
Now, this version of Tempo Mage, or Secrets Mage, he's playing Secret Keeper. Most of the versions that I've come up against have not been playing Secret Keeper, so this is quite interesting. So we saw the counter spell, and we're happy now to play Spreading Plague. We only get 3 taunts down, but I think that's reasonable. But he's going to have to work hard to still get through it. And all of the effort he's expending here, breaking through my taunts, means that my face is safe. Okay, there's my arm again, branching paths, that feels pretty good. And swipe, pretty awesome pickup here. And I think at the moment, we're in reasonable shape as far as stabilisation is concerned. We kill the 1 attack Secret Keeper, so he can't ping down my taunt. He'll have to trade something in or use a spell.
We have many secrets.
Okay, at the very least, this time, he doesn't have a secret to go with the Reno Mage. And we've seen both counter spells now, so we're feeling pretty happy about things.
This'll be good.
So, got to assume, yeah, that one of those secrets is explosive runes. At least we take no damage here. So Jade Behemoth soaking up the damage. That's pretty good.
I'll show them. I'll show them all.
And he's not found Alaneth yet. In the games that I've lost against Tempo Mage, it was Alaneth really that hastened my demise. Now, I'm tanking the damage here. That's quite a risky thing to do. Because, you know, fireballs, roaring torches are going to be a problem. Okay, there's Alan. So tanking the damage, should I have done that? Should I have just let him trade the Reno Mage into the Jade Behemoth? Was that a mistake on my part? But anyway, now that we know counter spells have gone, Ultimate Infestation filling our hand. We have double branching pods available to us. What we'd really like to see, though, is the Druid Death Knight, because gaining 3 armour every turn is pretty insane. And that's a polymorph. That's a polymorph in Tempo Mage. I find that fascinating. I mean, I see White's in there if he's facing a lot of Q blocks. Helps you get through a Void Lord or 2. I wonder if he runs double polymorph.
I'm late. I'm late.
We will shape this world to our will.
So now, it is a race between me being able to armour up and him being able to smash my face with burn spells. Alaneth is equipped, and we have the Ooze in hand. I don't think we play the Ooze. This is one of those interesting cases where I think we hold back, because eventually Alaneth is just going to kill him due to fatigue. Now, this is a strategy that I tried in an earlier game, in fact one of the early games that you saw me lose. And I kind of regretted not playing the Ooze. I thought, as we headed to the end, I thought that I could outlast him with armouring up. But with Flame Wakers and other things on the board, he was able to just completely shred my armour.
Excuse me, you are
So we tried the strategy again now. We won't play the Ooze. We'll wait and see what happens. Completely focusing on my face, as he should. Meanwhile, we'll continue to be as defensive as we can be. Ooh, duplicate is painful there. Yeah. So that's 6 burst damage that he can have.
This'll be good.
Okay, so holding back that Ooze still.
I'm almost out of cards.
Let's see what he's got in hand. Let's see how much he throws at my face here. No, he's not throwing anything at my face. And when your aggressive opponent starts throwing spells at your minions, you know you've got them on the back foot.
You are on fire.
Oh, but here comes that burst.
You are on fire.
We will
So that's not too
shape this
bad.
world to our will.
And now, spreading plague. It's going to do great work for us.
This'll be good.
Yeah. Unless he can get something crazy from Primordial Glyph. Well, actually, he's just dead. Yeah. Okay, we're going to look at one final game. And this is for rank 2, so a lot riding on the results of this game, and we're going up against a mage. I've faced a lot of mages, and therefore I'm keeping the Ooze, because if it's Tempo Mage, then we have a nice counter to Alaneth, if it's played early. If Alaneth gets played late, then as you've seen in the previous clips, maybe, just maybe, it's worth letting them keep the weapon equipped, and they draw themselves into fatigue. Because if there's one thing that this deck is good at, it's surviving fatigue, because you just keep shuffling Jade Idols. Now the fact that he pinged there and didn't play something like, I don't know, an Arcanologist, makes me think that this is not Tempo Mage.
Death does not scare me.
Yeah, the Death Lord would confirm it's not Tempo Mage, which means it has to be Reno Mage. Now, this is a very interesting matchup. I'm not sure how I quite feel about it, because in the past I've seen Reno Mages running Skulking Geist. Not recently, but a while back. You don't see many Reno Mages on the ladder anymore. They're a rare thing. But the beauty of Reno decks is that you can tech in whatever cards you want. If you want to tech in a Skulking Geist, you can tech in a Skulking Geist. Ultimately, there is only one card that truly matters, and that's Reno Jackson. You can build the deck around Reno. So if he has been facing a lot of, I don't know, Jade Druids on the ladder, then teching in Skulking Geist is sensible. However, Jade Druid is incredibly rare at the moment, so I'm going to make the assumption he's not playing Geist. Because if he is, we're quite probably screwed. So right now, it's a battle for the board. And that Death Lord is quite frustrating.
We're gonna be rich.
Now that's really interesting. Tempo Reno.
That's incredible.
Healing for 1. Really? I mean, is that worth it? Why did he do that? Does he have nothing else that he can play? And decided he wanted to play Reno to combat the board. Is that the decision? Is that a justifiable decision? So here we have Aya. We can play Aya now and then play the Flute next turn. I think getting Flute value on Aya is better than getting Flute value on the Behemoth. However, we want to kill Reno. That's the priority here.
Good.
We can play Aya and Flute next turn. And the reason is, he could have Zola in hand, or a banker, and then he gets Reno back into his deck. Maybe that's what he was hoping to do, and he was hoping that I wouldn't kill Reno.
At last, a worthy disciple.
Yeah, so next turn is probably going to be Arya and the Flute. We start to maximise our ability then to summon Jade Golems onto the board and put him under a bit of pressure. Yeah, he had Zola in hand. So he was probably hoping to get value on Reno through Zola. But here we go. Here comes the Jade value. And this is so good. I'm conscious that he's played Kazakus. I'm conscious that he's probably got a 5-mana potion in hand. Okay, Polymorph and Polymorph Ball. Alright, that's pretty good. So lots of removal in his hand. Now, I don't know how much those Kazakus potions are worth. I'm going to assume maybe it's 5 cost, but then if he's afraid of big Jade Golems, maybe he's taken a 10 cost potion. So I want to maximise the pressure on the board before turn 10. Because he's probably got the mass polymorph Kazakus spell, and that would be problematic. So Reno Mage doing the best he can here to stall. Sludge Belcher, still, in my opinion, one of the best taunts in the game. Double layered taunt. It's pretty good. However, if we do a bit of math, this game is over. And I almost missed it because I was so preoccupied by the Doomsayer and thinking about how do I kill it, that actually we simply have lethal here. So the pressure created by Jade Golems, it's actually pretty decent. And there's rank 2. Oh, and a hello from a friend of mine. Okay, so Jade Druid in 2019. How do I feel about it? It's a really strong deck in my opinion. You've got tools to be aggro decks. You have Swipe, you have Starfall, you have Spreading Plague, Wrath. The Spellstone is pretty good at killing off low health minions. So you have tools, Branching Paths for armor, Ferocious Howl for armor. So you've got tools to combat aggro. But if they get a really good start, then there's every chance that they just steamroll you. And that's happened a couple of times. In particular, against Tempo Mage, I've been steamrolled once they get Alaneth going. Against Odd Paladin, I think you're pretty much favoured because the dudes all have 1 health before they get buffed. So Swipe is exceptional against them. Starfall's really good against them. Your hero power is really good against 1/1 dudes. But yeah, aggro can still steamroll you. Against control decks that are really slow, I think you stand an excellent chance of winning. You just have to time your poison seeds correctly, your naturalizers correctly, and you've got a good chance of winning there. I think this deck is favoured against Big Priest and Q-Block if you get your removal at the right times and you use your removal at the correct times. And finally, against combo decks, you can win. You can win if you can get your Jade Golems going on the board. And you saw in that last game, okay, Reno Mage is not a combo deck, but you did see that before turn 10 or by turn 10, I was able to get a substantial amount of pressure going on the board, and he really couldn't answer it well enough. So that is a good way of beating a combo deck. Just roll out the pressure from your Jade cards, but you have to draw them in time. Quite often, Jade Blossom, Jade Behemoth, Jade Idol, these cards, Aya, the Jade generating cards are interweaved throughout your deck. So by the time you draw into all of them, it's quite late in the game, and by that point a combo deck may well have assembled all of their combo pieces, and you're just dead. So you need a bit of luck against combo decks, because generally speaking, this deck is quite slow. Unless you get lucky and you're able to develop those Jade Golems very, very quickly, generally this is still a slow deck. So, yeah, combo decks can be a problem. But on the whole, this deck is still incredibly solid to play, and it will be interesting to see if the next expansion offers anything of interest to Jade Druid. So, thank you very much for joining me, everyone. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all again very soon for more Wild Mode fun.